August 24th, 2018. Construction of the 100-mile-long, 20-inch Red Bluff Loop (RBL) segment of the Sandhills Pipeline was mechanically complete, and nitrogen was being injected into the pipeline in order to displace oxygen. The injection point was at a pig launching and receiver facility located outside the Wink Pump Station, 40 miles downstream of Orla, Texas, and 61 miles upstream of the Roberts Ranch, Texas facility, ends of the RBL. 2 nitrogen supply trucks and a nitrogen pump truck were contracted separately, as well as a general contractor and a contract inspector for execution of the job. The objective was to place a 10 to 15 psig nitrogen blanket on the line in preparation for introducing natural gas liquid, NGL, vapors. After 6 hours, nitrogen injection of the Orla upstream segment was stopped and the section isolated at 17 psig. The nitrogen injection continued in the Roberts Ranch downstream segment, although the pressure continued to read 0 psi. A diesel generator was started to supply power to the pressure transmitters at the injection site. Approximately 10 minutes later, the isolated piping associated with the launcher catastrophically failed within 120 feet of the nitrogen injection point. August 23, 2018, at 12 noon, nitrogen pump truck was on site and prepared for a single process connection. August 24, 2018, at 8 a.m., scope for nitrogen pump truck changed from 1 process connection to 2 process connections, 1 on either side of main line valve MLV 8. Nitrogen pump truck operator attempted to install the PSV upstream of the T on the nitrogen delivery piping in order to provide overpressure protection to both process piping connections, 1 on either side of main line valve MLV 8. This, however, could not be done as the pump truck operator did not have the appropriate connections, so the PSV was piped solely on the Orla segment process connection. 9:38 a.m. simultaneously started the nitrogen purge to both Orla and Roberts Ranch segments. Injection set points on the nitrogen pump truck were 478 psig and a rate of 5,500 SCFM upstream of the nitrogen pump truck control valve. This, however, was not in line with the nitrogen pump truck job plan, which was to inject at 3,000 SCFM for 12 hours. 4 p.m. Orla segment was showing 17 psig on the pressure transmitter at the Orla station, so the valve on the nitrogen delivery piping at the T was closed, and the 2-inch valve below the TOR was closed on the pipeline. Unknowingly, this isolated the only pressure safety valve protecting the job. 4 p.m. Nitrogen pressure on the Roberts Ranch segment continued to read 0 psig since the job started at 9:38 a.m., so the inspector began to troubleshoot why. 4:30 p.m. Inspector turned on the generator at the injection site to energize the PLC and digital pressure transmitter. 4:35 p.m. The inspector identified the needle valve below the pressure transmitter was closed and opened it. The pressure transmitter now showed the pressure in the Roberts Ranch segment to be 24 psig, far below the pipeline maximum allowable operating pressure of 1440 psig. 4:36 p.m. The inspector contacted the person at the Roberts Ranch facility that was to watch pressure and advised to check the needle valve below the pressure transmitter. The needle valve had been closed, but when opened also read 24 psig. 4:37 p.m. The inspector returned to the generator to shut it off. The inspector stopped and had a conversation with the diesel fuel driver while at the generator. 4:43. Piping blows out. Personnel evacuated and accounted for. 4:53 p.m. The inspector called the project manager to report the incident. Calculations later showed the isolated section of pipe saw pressures exceeding 3,000 psig. 2 elbow sections were found in a flattened condition 500 and 600 feet from the rupture site. A third elbow was found intact 120 feet from the rupture site.